All right, hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving deep today into something I think we can all relate to, better sleep, am I right?
Oh, absolutely. And, most of us, I think, we could all use a little more of that good sleep, or at least better sleep.
Totally. So that's why we're going deep on this. Our source material today, it's called Overcoming Sleep Disorders. It's all about tips, tricks, all kinds of advice on getting better rest.
And I think that's what we all want, right? I mean, who doesn't want to wake up feeling refreshed and ready to tackle the day?
No kidding. And you know what? It's not just about feeling good either. Getting enough sleep, or rather getting quality sleep, that's like crucial for everything. Your health, your mood, I even read it, impacts your immune system.
It really does. It affects your concentration, your memory, your decision making. It even impacts things like your metabolism and your risk for certain diseases.
Wow, that's serious stuff.
It is. And that's why, I'm so glad we're talking about this because a lot of people just sort of accept poor sleep as part of life, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Exactly. I mean, we're here to give you actionable tips that you can start using, as soon as tonight if you want.
Absolutely. And, the first step is really understanding the problem, right? So before we dive into those tips, let's talk briefly about the different types of sleep disorders.
Yeah, that's a good point. I know there's insomnia. That's the one everyone's heard of. But I bet there are more that most people don't even know about.
There are. Insomnia is definitely common. It's when you have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. But then you have things like sleep apnea, which is actually where your breathing is disrupted during the night.
Oh, wow.
And that can be really serious if it's not addressed. Then you have restless leg syndrome, which makes it, almost impossible to lie still because of this uncomfortable feeling in your legs.
Okay, so those are the kind of the big ones, the main sleep disorders.
Yeah, those are some of the most common ones. And each of them, of course, requires its own specific approach. But the good news is that many of the tips for better sleep can actually benefit people with a variety of sleep issues.
Okay, so let's get into those tips. I'm ready to start sleeping like a baby.
All right, let's start with one of the most fundamental and yet often overlooked things you can do. Establishing a relaxing bedtime routine.
Routine, okay.
Yeah. It's all about signaling to your body and your mind that it's time to wind down, kind of shifting gears from the busyness of the day to preparing for rest.
So, what kind of routine are we talking about?
Well, it can be as simple or as elaborate as you like, but consistency is key. Some people find that taking a warm bath helps them relax. Others might read a book, listen to calming music, things like that.
I like the sound of that. Maybe a little light reading before bed.
Exactly. And there are some specific techniques you can try, like progressive muscle relaxation. That's where you systematically tense and release different muscle groups. Really helps to relieve physical tension.
Progressive muscle. Okay. I'm writing that one down.
Yeah, it's great. And another one is the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Inhale for a count of 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. It can really slow down your heart rate and calm your nervous system.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of that breathing technique. Might have to give that a try.
I highly recommend it. And then, of course, there's the basics like dimming the lights, putting away your phone and any screens. That blue light from devices can really mess with your sleep.
Oh, yeah, that blue light. I know they say that's bad. I'm definitely guilty of scrolling on my phone in bed. Bad habit.
We all do it. It's so tempting. But creating that separation, that digital detox before bed, can make a huge difference in your sleep quality.
Okay, noted. No more doom scrolling before bed. So what else have we got in terms of tips?
Well, this one might seem obvious, but it's worth repeating. Avoiding caffeine and alcohol before bed.
Yeah, that makes sense. Though I do love a cup of chamomile tea to wind down.
Chamomile's great. It's actually known for its calming properties. But coffee, even black tea, those have caffeine. And alcohol, while it might seem to make you sleepy initially, actually disrupts your sleep cycles later in the night.
So no nightcap then?
Probably best to skip it if you want a good night's rest. Now, your sleep environment, that plays a big role too. Cool, dark, and quiet. Those are the key words.
Okay, cool, dark, and quiet. Got it.
And that can mean different things for different people. Some people need it completely dark. Others like a little bit of light. Experiment to find what works best for you.
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan of blackout curtains.
Those can be a lifesaver. And for noise, if you live in a noisy area, earplugs are a great option. Or a white noise machine can help to mask those disruptive sounds.
Makes sense. White noise really helps me drown out my neighbor's barking dog.
There you go. And then there's exercise.
Oh, yeah, exercise.
It's fantastic for sleep, but the timing matters. Getting regular exercise is great, but try to avoid intense workouts too close to bedtime.
Yeah, that makes sense. I always feel too wired after a late workout.
Exactly. You want to give your body time to cool down and relax before you hit the hay.
Okay, so exercise earlier in the day, check. So we've got routine, we've got the environment. Anything else we should know about?
Well, the source mentioned something pretty interesting. Even the color of your bedroom walls can have an impact on your sleep.
Really? The color of the walls?
Yeah. Think about it. Cool, calming colors like blues and greens, those can have a soothing effect. But bright, stimulating colors, those can actually make it harder to fall asleep.
Huh, never thought of that.
Yeah.
I might have to rethink my bright yellow bedroom.
You might. And everyone is different. What works for one person might not work for another. It's all about finding what works best for you.
That's true. And honestly, just knowing these tips, it makes me feel empowered. Like I can actually do something to improve my sleep.
Absolutely. And even just incorporating one or two of these tips can make a difference. You don't have to overhaul your entire life. Start small and see what happens.
I love that. Start small. So, listeners, which of these tips are you going to try? What one small change could you make tonight to sleep better? Think about it. It's pretty amazing how much control we have over our sleep if we just pay attention to these things.
It really is. And remember, sleep is an investment in your health and well-being. It's worth prioritizing.
Couldn't agree more. So we've covered a lot today, from the different types of sleep disorders to all those practical tips. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of sleep.
It's been a pleasure.
And hey, before we go, here's a thought to ponder as you drift off tonight. We focused a lot on the practical side of sleep, but what about dreams? What do you think they tell us?
That's a great question. Dreams are still such a mystery, aren't they?
They are. So much to explore there. All right, everyone, until next time, sleep well.